What's up, guys? It's NAMM 2018. We're here in the In Music booth. It's Syph and Brendan. We're here with Fred at the Rane Station. We're checking out the 72 and the 12.
What's up? What's up?
So he's going to walk us through basically what we got here. We just saw an amazing showcase by Q-Bert, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what makes this a hot product for us and what you guys can expect to play with. Fred, take it away, man.
All right, first we'll start off with the 72. We'll start with the most important feature of any mixer is the fader. So with the faders, we have the new Mag 3 fader, and all three faders pretty much are the same. So what makes the Mag 3 unique from the previous Rane faders is we actually added tension adjust on these faders. So if you take off the top panel, similar to the way that all the previous Rane mixers work, you'll expose the faders, and there you can adjust the tension on all three.
Cool.
There's a set screw on the top of the fader that you can adjust, and there's a magnet attached to that set screw, and that's how you would control the tension. You raise and lower the magnet, and you reduce or increase the tension as desired. One other note on the fader is we changed the carrier material. This carrier material is 160 times stronger than the previous carrier materials. There were some issues with the old faders. They used to snap, the tangs used to snap off. So this will never happen again with this material.
160 times stronger. I can do a handstand on that fader.
I've been trying to break this thing for 6 months and I haven't done it yet. So
nice.
You should never need to replace the carrier.
Great.
But if you do, we have plenty available.
Awesome.
Moving on up, we'll go into the pad section. So the pad section, you got two individual pad banks, so you're not limited to just one pad mode for both pad banks. You have individual control over your pad banks for deck 1 and deck 2. You have your standard pad modes like your hot cues, your loops, your rolls, sampler, slicer, things like that. We also added a couple of new pad modes. We'll start with the first one, which is your pad effects. So your pad effects are, you have your brake, backspin, gate, and you have echo. So to select the pad effect, you just basically select the pad effect you want, you play your track, and then if you want to echo out, the bottom yellow pads are your time division. So these are like that's like a fast echo out, right. And then this one will be more of a longer echo.
Okay, gotcha.
And then you can layer it with the brake as well, and
nice.
you can kind of do those type of things. So that's basically your pad effects. Another pad mode we have is fader effects. So basically these will mimic your crossfader movements. So you can basically just press a pad, and while you're moving the record, you could get your fader movements and
okay.
I don't know if I can do it holding a mic, but yeah, probably can't do it holding a mic, but we can demo it out. We can demo it out in a minute or two.
Cool.
and give you a rundown on that. Another pad mode, which is very, very, very helpful, and this is like your emergency pad mode right here. This is the transport mode. So what this does, it gives you transport controls on the actual mixer. So if you get to a party, you break a needle, you forgot your records, the club doesn't have turntables or CD players, and you're stuck, you can just go in transport mode, and you can actually DJ your whole night.
So that's kind of like an internal mode through the mixer itself.
Yes, absolutely. So you have this is like your pitch bend up and down. This is actually your pitch up and down.
Wow.
Key lock on, sync, key lock on and off, sync on and off, and then your start and stop.
That's
so you
cool.
can actually.
So you can do a temporary pitch bend right up here, just tapping away.
Yeah.
Question. On the pads, are they with the sampler? Are they velocity driven, or are they just pure?
Depends on what mode you have in Serato.
Okay.
You got two. We have two different pad modes. The primary sampler pad mode is the non-velocity.
Okay.
And then you have a secondary. You have actually a third pad set, which I can get into in a second, where
awesome.
you have a third set of pad modes. Customizable pad modes would be your shift function.
Sick.
So in this pad mode right here, we have a couple of pad banks that are actually blank. They're just MIDI notes that you can actually MIDI map yourself. So
wow.
you have standard MIDI notes on certain MIDI channels.
So a lot more customization.
So you can customize them, and then you can get your velocity sampler or your flip or any of the pad modes in Serato that are not currently active. You can assign them to the third bank.
Right on.
So you basically have your primary, your secondary. Your primary is your initial press.
Right.
Your secondary is your second press, and then to go into that third mode, you just hold down Shift and hit one of the pad modes. So you can utilize something like velocity.
A lot of customization. Sampler. That's very sick.
Yep.
Cool, man. So we got some individual screen displays up here. That's pretty awesome. So you can look right down in the mixer. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So right up here you have this is your 4.3 inch. It's a color touchscreen. So your primary modes, you have your effects mode. So now with your effects mode, Your top three boxes are your Serato effects, and then the bottom is your internal flex effects. One thing we did with the effects engine on the 72 is we added 2 flex effects engines. On the previous Rane mixes, you just had 1 flex effects engine for the whole mixer. So on this one, we gave you 2 different effects banks. So you can have echo on this side, and then you could go on here and you can put ping pong or phaser, so you can have two different.
Just to clarify for the viewers, the Flex Effects is the internal effects engine inside the mixer itself, separate from the Serato concept.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep. Your Serato effects are pre-fader. Your Rane effects are post-fader.
Cool.
So if you want to get a Serato effect and get that post-fader sound, just use a flex effect like echo, then you can echo out, and then your Serato effect will get that post-fader sound. So there's a little trick you can do to get that Serato effect.
Let's move on to the 12s over here, brother. Let's see. We saw Q-Bert cutting it up a little bit.
Woo, I don't even want to touch it after that.
Yeah.
I'm like, he just makes me want to either practice or quit. I don't know, one or the other.
Tell us how this thing works, because a lot of people, they're still trying to figure out where's the toner on, where the piece is at. Is this the same as time code? Is it better? Break it down for them.
All right, so basically the concept behind the 12 is it's real simple. Your MIDI time code is more accurate than DVS because you're not dealing with a control signal, or you're not dealing with dirty records, bad needles, you're not dealing with sound interference. So your MIDI data is going to be straightforward no matter what.
It's going to be clean.
So that's always more accurate. So this right up here is your strip search bar. So this is your needle search. So this basically replaces your tone arm essentially, because this is how you would navigate through your song.
And
so,
it reflects right on the mixer too.
Yep. Another function of this touch bar is you can also trigger your hot cues.
Okay.
So I have my hot cues set here, and in hot cue mode, you see that the colors correspond, and you can.
So again, it's visually, if you're more here focused on that, you can still do it. If you're more focused on the table, you could still do it without breaking your line of view.
And another big thing too with that is you don't have to use the 72 to take advantage of the 12. This will work with any Serato mixer or interface. So if you have an SL4 box and you don't have any hot cues on your mixer, you're using an old analog mixer, you still have the ability to trigger your hot cues.
So
and
that's
skip,
a nice little in-between for anyone.
things.
If they have just an SL box, they could go that route and still take advantage of queuing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're not tethered down to the 72. You can use it. You can use the 12 as an official Serato accessory that you can use any supported Serato device.
How would you compare the torque on this unit to, I don't know, let's say the PLX 1000s or any other table out there, Techniques, for example? From what I feel, it's pretty comparable. It's got a nice pull to it. Any stats on that?
Well, the torque, you have 2 different settings. So you have your low setting, which is the same as the Technique 1200, and then you have your high setting, which is 5 CFM, which is a bit above. Me personally, I like mine on the high setting. I just like that grab and release. Some scratch DJs that we've had, we showed this to, they prefer the low setting because they're used to that 1200 feel. They say that the high setting feels like they're fighting it too much. So each person is going to